Hello and welcome to OLT 321 European Literature. My name is Warren Reed and this is Lecture 1 for the Poetry section. Yeah. Today we're going to talk about a few things. Narrative poetry, lyric poetry, the epic, the romance, and the sonnet. Remember, this is high points. You can read the course material, okay? And also, don't forget, go on the Moodle. There's plenty there. I put tons of PowerPoints and stuff. Nobody's watching that, so people are losing out. Okay, there are three kinds of narrative poetry: the epic, the ballad, and the romance. A narrative tells a story, okay? Like the slave narratives. It's a story, telling the story of the slave. Okay, since in a minute we're going to talk about epic and romance, I'll just mention that what a ballad is. A ballad tells a story, usually a tragic story, has a sad ending, and traditionally it was a song. I mean, these are poems, so poems were meant to be sung. Some of them now they're recited and so on, but anyway, the ballad was traditionally sung, and it was a sad story and a story. Okay, lyric poetry. Lyric has musicality and is not about a story. Instead, lyric poetry is personal and gives the poet's thoughts and feelings. There's the ode, the elegy, and the sonnet. An ode is a poem addressed on a particular subject in a high style, such as Ode on a Grecian Urn. And then there's an elegy, is a poem of serious thought about a subject, usually about a dead person. Usually it's an elegy, like a famous person dies, so someone writes an elegy, a serious, thoughtful poem about honoring that person. And sonnets we'll discuss. Okay, the epic. The epic poem is also the foundation for Western storytelling tradition or narrative tradition. It always starts in the middle of the action. That's called in medias res. It calls out to the muse or inspiration. Oh, muse, please inspire me to be great. It has a hero that represents the value of that particular civilization. When you say, what is a great the ideal Tanzanian person is this way. The ideal Kenyan man is this way. So those are epic heroes. Epic heroes have those qualities, and none of the the weaknesses. So it's like a bandera. It's like flag waving. It's a little bit we're great and this is why, because la 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 la. There are supernatural forces helping and also fighting the hero. There's themes of glory, honor, respect, fate, and homecoming, because there's always a journey. There's always some kind of a journey. Often the hero dies or sacrifices himself, but he's remembered, and in this way his tribe is remembered. His story becomes the tribe's story. So, and also the style is full of repetitions. That also helps the poet, because they're very long, so you repeat things, helps you remember, and helps the poet to remember too. Also, I have a nice PowerPoint on this on the Moodle, so don't miss it. Otherwise, I did it for nothing, right? The romance. Over the centuries, society's changed. An epic no longer represented the contemporary world of Europe. Okay, we're talking about Europe. Feudalism was the foundation of European society at the time, and the heroes were knights, professional soldiers linked by loyalty to the king. The romance emerged to satisfy their need to show the life and times of these heroes, who represent their cultures, whose main values were heroism, worship of God, and loyalty to the king, love, and search for the unknown. So you see how the values changed slightly since the epic. Here, love meant courtly love, often an unfulfilled passion. Typically, a lady gives a token of her love, like a handkerchief, and the hero keeps it close to his heart in his armor, or ties it to his spear or lance, and it helps him stay motivated when he's off far away alone on his dangerous quest. The sonnet. Okay, it began in Italy around the 16th century. Sonnet became a popular form of poetry. Petrarch and Shakespeare are the most famous sonnet writers. It has a strict form, and this means the poet has to be more deliberate and careful in choosing his words. It's got iambic pentameter, which is a fancy way of saying each line has 10 syllables. Stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed. Or stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed. The Shakespearean sonnet has 3 stanzas made up of 4 lines each. Those are called quatrains, quatre for 4. 4 stanzas of 3 lines each, and then a final rhymed couplet. And the rhyme scheme, the end of the lines is A, B for the first stanza, C, D for the second, E, F for the third, and then G. Now why those letters? A and B, A rhymes with A, B rhymes with B, C rhymes with C, D rhymes with D, to show that each stanza has its own separate rhymes. Okay. So now I'm going to read Sonnet 18 of Shakespeare's for you and show you what I mean. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. So here's the rhymes. We've got day, temperate, date, shines, declines, dimmed, untrimmed, fade, shade, owest, growest, see, and thee. Basically, this is a love poem, or not necessarily even love. It's about how beautiful this lady is. She's so beautiful, but she's not overly beautiful. It's not like too much. It's just the right amount of beauty. And even though like the sun fades, she won't fade. And even though time goes on and her life goes along the line of time, her beauty will not change. She won't fade. She won't become less beautiful. As long as this poem exists, then it gives life to thee. So as long as this paper is here, people can read and men can breathe, then your beauty will exist. So it's kind of like saying, sure, her beauty will last forever. It's quite beautiful, quite sweet. Maybe he got some kisses out of it. That would have been cool. Who knows? So we talked about 1, the narrative poems, 3 kinds. Lyric poems, 3 kinds. We talked about the epic, the romance, and the sonnet. Gave you an example. Now make sure you go on the Moodle and check out the PowerPoints. That's all I got for you right now. So have a great day. Bye, guys.